House Bill 444 HD1 passed the House with a 33-17 vote, only one vote shy of a supermajority. Even members of the minority party and previously thought conservative Democrats voted in support. 18 members of this body of the Senate then indicated they were in support, one more than the supermajority needed to override a veto, and the measure was scheduled for a committee hearing. Knowing the possibility of a tie vote was strong, members were polled on the possibility of a recall, such as we're trying today, and at the end of the day, 13 said they would support a pull. Shortly thereafter, the marathon public hearing was held, the vote was taken, and results were 3, 4, and 3 against. The chair of the committee voted yes in support of the bill. The vice chair of the committee voted yes in support of the bill. A majority of Democrats on the committee voted in support of the bill, and 2 Democrats joined with 1 Republican minority member to successfully block HB 44 House Draft 1 in committee. In the end, this bill will live or die, not because of the actions taken by that committee, but through our action or inaction as a group, which is why the motion is being made here today on the floor, which is why I'm asking you to join me in allowing this very important measure to be brought to the full floor for a full and open discussion on its merits. As you can see, we're not allowed to discuss the issue on its merits here today. We're not allowed to discuss why we may or may not support civil unions. We can only discuss this particular measure asking to be pulled from the floor. Why wouldn't we be willing to recall this bill from committee for a full discussion and floor vote? What are the reasons why we would not want to have a full and open discussion on this very important issue? If there are 18 senators who support the bill, if there are 18 senators who support extending the same rights, benefits, protections, and responsibilities of spouses in a marriage to partners in a civil union, why is there hesitation now? That language, by the way, is not new language. Though the word marriage seems to make a lot of people very nervous, that language has been there from the beginning.
Madam President, point of order, please.
Senator Kokobu.
I really would request that this discussion be centered on the motion to recall. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Hooser.
Madam President, I understand that, and the points I'm going to raise now are the points that have been discussed in the past as reasons why not to recall this bill. When discussed individually and otherwise, asking members why they may or may not support the recall of this bill, there were 4 general objections. Recalling from the bill from committee sets a bad precedent, some will say, and somehow violates the internal committee process and structure of the Senate. That's number 1. Number 2, House Bill 444, House Draft 1, is likely to be vetoed by the governor, and so why should we expose ourselves politically when she will veto and the likelihood of being able to override the veto is slim? So why even bother should we take it further? Number 3 objection, House Bill 444, House Draft 1, is likely to be challenged in court, and we could wind up like Connecticut with same-sex marriage being legalized. The 4th most common objection is instead of passing this bill, we should focus on amending the bill, deleting references to marriage and granting some additional rights, but not all the rights. In the interest of time, I will not go into great detail refuting each of those concerns, but I will touch briefly on this. The ability to recall the bill from committee is a constitutional right that is rarely used, but is there for exactly these types of situations. It was created in our Constitution for situations in which bills are kept bottled up in committee. Bills have been recalled for a variety of measures over the years. I've got a list I'd like to introduce into the record. There was a bill in 1994 relating to marriage, House Bill 2312, 1996, 1998, 2002. Though it is rare, it is not unheard of, and it is not uncommon. A review of the votes and the reasons given will clearly show the recalls were made based on the bill being stuck in committee and members feeling strongly that the full Senate needed to debate and vote on the substance of the issue. This is why they recalled in the past, and that's why this is some of the reasons I'm asking for the recall today. A further review of the history also clearly shows that in each case of recall, there was no subsequent breakdown of the committee process. There was no rush or flurry of attempts to recall other bills. A review of the history also shows that many members here today, who I believe are not in support of the recall, have in the past voted to recall other measures. The second objection regarding the veto, worrying about whether the governor will veto the measure or not, worrying about whether we have the votes to override or whether the House to have the votes to override, and failing to act as a result of that worry, I believe is a fruitless and self-defeating exercise. If we truly feel that granting full and equal rights, oh, I'm sorry, I apologize for talking about the substance of the bill. If we fully believe that doing what we're here today, doing what I'm proposing today is the right thing to do, then we should simply call this measure to a floor, have a full and open discussion, and do it. And let the governor do what she must do. At the end of the day, we must each look ourselves in the mirror and judge ourselves on the action we take. And the decision we make today should be based on what we believe is right and just, and not on what we speculate the governor may or may not do. Number three, recent concerns raised that this bill is too close to the Connecticut law, and the courts may as a result legalize same-sex marriage. These concerns, I believe, are unfounded. Though it is very likely, not unlikely, that the law could be challenged in court, Hawaii attorney and professor of constitutional law and well-respected attorney John Van Dyke has stated clearly and in writing that the likelihood of this occurring is remote. And in fact, he used the word impossible. In addition, retired Hawaii Supreme Court Associate Justice Stephen Levinson has also written, "I concur completely with Professor Van Dyke's analysis." I have another letter here from the ACLU attorney Lois Perrin that says, "There is no legal basis for any argument that HB 444 as currently written will be used as a basis of a lawsuit for same-sex marriage under the Hawaii State Constitution." I would like to enter those three communications into the record as well. Last but not least is the objection that we should amend the bill, somehow remove the word marriage from the language, reduce the amount of rights we are granting, and pass it back over to the House, an amended version that the governor is not likely to veto. This option, the one that I do not personally support, remains a possibility. I would like to thank the Senator from Eva Beach, Senator from downtown, who have each worked very hard, spending many hours trying to craft such an amendment that might be acceptable to the advocates and to the Senate majority. I applaud their efforts and encourage them today to support the vote today and then offer the amendments to the full Senate on Friday. Should a majority of members vote in support of those amendments, I will join you in that support for the final amended vote. I'll repeat that. Should a majority of members vote in support of those amendments, I will join in that vote of support for the final amended bill. In conclusion, Madam President, members, this is a tough issue. Probably the toughest one we've been involved with in a while. For myself, I think it's important. I think the reason I was elected was to make these kinds of decisions. You know, we have plenty of pressure from all sides. There's no shortage of pressure. There are plenty of reasons we can come up with. There are plenty of reasons we can come up with to postpone this vote or to vote no. For me, the main reason to vote yes, the main reason that I personally have not been able to avoid, is one of principle and one of obligation. The principle, of course, is that all people are created equal and all people deserve to be treated fairly, equally, and with respect and dignity. All people are created equal and that all people deserve to be treated fairly, equally, and with respect and dignity. I cannot say that often enough. The principle that knowing this is the right thing to do, the principle that the people affected by this legislation deserve better and deserve our vote and support. I'm voting in support of this measure today, and I'm asking you to join me because we owe it to these people. These are our friends, our neighbors, our family members. We owe them a full and open discussion of the issue and a full vote on the floor of this chamber. And I'm here today requesting your support in recalling House Bill 444, House Draft 1, to the floor of the Senate. But more than that, I'm asking that each of you simply vote your conscience. Vote the issue, vote the principle, vote for what you know and believe to be right in your heart. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Any further discussion?